This is Mac with Mac's Corner, and before I get back to doing a bunch more video game vids, probably sometime next week, I'm going to be playing them this week. Wanted to talk some Game of Thrones, my absolute favorite TV show of all time, and probably one of the best TV shows that will ever be made. Certainly the best one that's ever been made, in my opinion. And oops, sorry for that, but I'm just going to leave it because it's kind of irrelevant. Um, so, predictions. This isn't going to be a long video because I could talk Game of Thrones for hours, even to myself or even to nobody. But I want to put on record some predictions. One, I am absolutely convinced after this last episode that Jon Snow, who is not actually Jon Snow, but Jon Targaryen, will be king of the North. Now, the real question that remains is, will he be king and Dany will be queen? Or will he be king and Dany will bend the knee to him? That would be a very interesting kind of turnaround to her character, in my opinion, or a very good loop, because she spent the entire time behaving in the way she has under the assumption she was the rightful heir to the throne. That's always been her thing. So when she finds out, in my opinion, that Jon is the actual heir to the throne, I think she'll bend the knee and come kind of full circle. So the real question to me is whether or not she'll be married. But yeah, if you're wondering how I figured this, it's the annulment scene during with Sam and his wife, which basically John, or the last Targaryen king, annulled his marriage to marry the Stark woman. I forget her name, but Ned's whatever lover or whatever, or who eventually became his wife. So that means that Jon is not a bastard Targaryen either. He was born while they were married. So that's my thought on that. Cersei being pregnant. This is another big one for me. I've always said that it will only make sense for Cersei to meet her end by Arya. Arya's crossed some names off of her list. She didn't get to do Joffrey. It's just, for me, Arya's full circle character arc has got to be killing Cersei. And I'm convinced it's going to be with the Valyrian dagger that started this whole thing, which was instigated by at least Cersei, if not Cersei and Littlefinger, but at least Cersei started this whole mess to get to kill Bran. And that dagger is going to be stabbed in her stomach in the same way it was used on, excuse me a second, Rob's wife at the Red Wedding. So I'm going on record right now with these predictions. So we shall see. Other about the episode, I thought it was a great episode. Not as fun as the last one, but I think just as good as the last one. Though I was a little annoyed about how Jaime got pulled out of the water by Bronn so easy. Like, full suit of armor. That's why, like, if you look at ancient history, why when boats smashed, nobody survived, because when you're in armor, you can't swim. I don't care how strong you are, you sink. And that was a pretty big thing of water he fell in. And I know Brown's a strong guy, but dragging him in armor halfway across the river, yeah, I was a little lazy, but whatever. Another thing that gets asked a lot, I've heard people talk about, why are the White Walkers taking so long to attack? And why is it taking them so long to march? I think people forget that the White Walkers need winter and need the snow, and while it's extremely snowy in the north, the snow hasn't traveled far enough south, is my belief as to why they're kind of still waiting. If you remember that scene from, oh man, like season 2, I think it was, of Game of Thrones, where Dany was with the Warlock, and it showed the picture of the Iron Throne, and it looked like it had been in battle. Like, I mean, that's my, I still think the dragons are going to wind up attacking, because it was the Iron Throne in snow with the roof basically blown apart, or excuse me, the Iron Throne with the roof basically blown apart. And if you remember, it was snowing. So in that scene, it was snowing. So winter eventually gets much further south. And let's see. I think that's pretty much about it. I love seeing the blacksmith kid back. I forget his name, the Baratheon bastard. He was just a great. His character was so much. I never like really. I didn't hate him. I just never enjoyed him before. But man, he was a lot of fun. He was a ton of fun this episode. Let's see if I got any other predictions. I have this feeling I'm forgetting like a big one, but those I think are the most major ones. Will Jaime turn on Cersei? He might turn on her. I don't know if he. See, that's why I don't think he. So I still think Aya's got to be the one to kill her. But I do see. So I think that Cersei's gonna agree to go north to fight the White Walkers, but her intent is not to fight the White Walkers. I think she's gonna try and use that moment to betray Dany and Jon, and I think Jaime's going to say no. Jaime's going to realize the risk, and he's going to be like, no. And then she's going to be on her own, and I think that's how Jaime's going to betray her. But that's pretty much, that's all I've got. I've got a feeling I'm missing something, and if I remember it, I'll leave it in the comment below. But I'm going to start doing these for every Game of Thrones episode moving forward. One, in case you enjoy them, and two, just so I've got it on record with a date stamp on when I predicted it. Alright, without further ado, hope you enjoyed, and you can expect some video game vids coming here in the near future. Mac out.